Everyone, welcome to another edition of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. Today we have returning to the show after a bit of a break, actually. We have Hororhaus.
What's
Welcome,
up,
my friend.
guys? Hey,
And
everyone.
to discuss his new concept album, Evocation, the Astral Realms of Ars Goatia.
Yeah.
How many mispronunciations did I do in there?
Well, you did it right. I had the
Oh,
CD.
you
It's
got actual CDs.
I have an
Whoa.
actual CD. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. It's probably too. Let's see if I can get a little brightness on here.
I remember that feeling of having an actual CD. That was exciting.
It is available though. I have shirts and I have CDs. Usually with my releases, my full lengths, I do a CD and I do a shirt or something like that just to have it out there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, limited edition run or whatever. And yeah, it's good to be able to have physical copy. I've been listening to a lot of CDs lately. I fell out of listening to CDs for a long time.
Mm.
And I listen to a lot of like black and death metal and underground things or whatever. So it's kind of cool to be able to have that available on CD. And I'm always looking for the AIFF file. I want something like a better quality.
Yeah, yeah.
As versus like listening to something like Spotify or the DSP of your choice. I mean, things that are on Bandcamp are a little bit less compressed, which is nice.
Yeah,
Things
and you can really hear the difference just from between Bandcamp and Spotify, right?
For sure. I mean, like a lot of low end that I have is completely compressed, and it's like the whole
Mm.
sound wars thing or whatever, and then be able to go to like listening to the DSPs and then listening to that back on a headset. And a lot of the low end stuff that I have is very low endy, so it's like some of the stuff starts compressing out, but if you listen to it like on Bandcamp, it sounds uncompressed, so it's pretty good. So for me, I'm always trying to search for the higher quality file. So oftentimes I am going to Bandcamp and I'm downloading stuff there if I can't find the CD online, and I'm not going to go to Discogs and pay $1 million for the CD, you know, for underground stuff. But every once in a while I'm able to get direct. I do a lot of research online, so I'm going to like trying to figure out where the distro house is in the U.S. or looking for direct to the artist or direct from the label or something like that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
always great to. So I started like getting back into listening to CDs, which I hadn't done, and I collect vinyl a lot, so like listening to a lot of things on vinyl. And I fell out of like listening to CDs, but I have like thousands and thousands of CDs from back in the day,
Wow. Yeah.
plus working at labels and stuff like that, always getting, either stuff for free or at a discount or whatever. And then, doing trades with artists too. So I started getting back into listening because I have like a really good system at home to be able to listen to stuff. I listen to stuff like old analog. I have like an
Oh,
old analog.
nice. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I want to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like the ghetto file for real. Like, it's like I bought all that stuff for really cheap, like in the late '90s, early 2000s. So I'm always looking to collect something that I'm trying to see if I can find the right price for or whatever. But I did buy a Marantz amp at 2230 a while back in '99 or 2000 for like literally $100. Now they go for like $700 or $800.
Wow.
But that's an old solid state amp from '73. So my whole digital system, for anything I'm watching on Blu-ray or Ultra 4K now, or like listening to cassettes. I have a cassette player, vinyl, obviously CDs. I have a Atari 2600 hooked up to it, to my screen in my cave. So always listening to stuff like that, whatever. But it's like I'm listening to stuff on a Bearer Dynamic headset too. So and
Mm.
I have a headphone amp to be able to drive it. So it sounds really good. So like
Oh, nice.
if I can get the chance to be able to get the higher quality file to listen to stuff that I'm really into, because I like really into sound and wanting stuff that's uncompressed, then I'm looking for that. So yeah, so it's
Yes.
good to be able to have it on CD, which is cool. You can order it, go to Bandcamp, get it.
It's a physical thing. What a
Physical
concept.
thing. It.
But let's talk about how the idea for this concept album actually it's going to be one in a series of
Yeah.
albums. But tell me about how the whole thing started, how
Okay.
how
Yeah.
you
Sure.
inspired to do it.
Totally. So I mean, with Horrorhaus itself, I mean, it's like a dark wave combination of a lot of different things, but it definitely has like a dance beat sort of thing about it. And somewhere around, I think it was 2022, I decided to do an ambient record. I really love ambient music. It's kind of at the forefront of what I do anyway. It's a little bit of a deeper dive into what I do. So, no vocals and that kind of stuff, but there are vocals in it, but it's not like a lyric kind of thing. So, I did one record in 2022 called La Pisadera. So I had sleep paralysis as a kid, as a
Oh
teen,
wow.
and I wanted to explore that. I'm kind of like Horror House is always about like kind of exploring my inner demons and kind of getting them out and exercising them within myself and then doing it through audio. And so I did that album, which it's like a concept record. All my stuff is. So it's basically like in the beginning, you hear a tick, 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 like clock thing. And then all of a sudden it goes into this astral realm thing for about 32 minutes or 35 minutes or so. And then it resolves back with a theme. And it has like another tick, tick, tick. Like it's on like almost like Dark Side of the Moon. Like it like kind of starts off with
Oh
a
yeah.
heartbeat and ends with a heartbeat. This kind of starts with the tick, tick, tick. So it's like you're falling asleep and then you awake. So it's like kind of like that, and then it kind of loops around. So
Well, can I ask, because you said it's about exercising your demons a lot, and are you
mhm.
sure you were not drawing demons to yourself by doing this
Well, it's
project?
okay. Well, with La Pisadera, I mean that record, the first ambient record, it was definitely more about like some stuff that I was dealing with inside and wanting to
Mm.
like kind of bring it out. I wanted to make it feel like how I felt when I would experience night terrors. And like I know it might be horrifying for some people to listen to, or maybe it's too harsh to people to deal with that might have it, but I wanted to do something that would be like I'm always kind of like going through like depression and things like that, darker stuff that's within me, and trying to bring it out and do it with the audio. So that's what I did with that one. But like with this new one, Evocation, it's the Astral Realms of Goatia. It's a really continuation and a deeper exploration of my Evocation record. So the Evocation record came out in 2021. That's got like singles on it. Well, it was like Grimoire was on there, Possession was on there, and Transcendence was on there. Got a lot of play from DJs and stuff. Kind of brought me up into the forefront a little bit in the dark wave scene.
Oh,
And
oh,
I always wanted.
before I forget, the grimoire, that's what this whole tale is about, right? With
Yeah.
like
Yes.
I don't know, are all the names listed? Are they
Yes.
all fallen angels?
Yes.
In
So,
that?
so
Okay.
yeah. So I'll go into that quickly. So, or try to not to go too far into it. But so basically, the first Evocation record that was a dark wave record was about a nightmare that I used to have recurring about this girl, and she became possessed. And
Mm.
I would have these really, really dark dreams about the sounds. Like she was like kind of, she was dead. She was caught within the walls. I was hearing these really weird sounds. I was really, really
Oh
freaked out,
wow.
like weird sounds and things that were like lower register things and frequencies and stuff. So what I did was is that I took that nightmare and I basically turned it into a record. So it's concept record. So I wrote like a backstory about it. That's a little bit about what it was, but like the storyline goes for Evocation, the first record. So it's just basically like I did a first record called Entrance. In the beginning of the first of this record of Evocation, the guy, the character, it's the
Mm.
girl, she starts spinning the record backwards and doing backmasking with the record.
Okay.
So it starts off like that. And she starts hearing backwards messages in it. And the messages bring her to playing with the Ouija board. So the first track is
Mm.
called Ouija. It's Ouija Conjuring and then Ouija. And then the next one is Grimoire. So like she goes into the Ouija. The Ouija tells her to go to the Grimoire. And the Grimoire is the Ars Goatia. And the Ars Goatia is 72 demons. So like it's mentioned within the record, break on through until 72. 72 is the
Mm.
72 demons. So she gets possessed by these demons basically, and she has breakdown. She ends up committing suicide. It's crazy. And then after that, she's basically like astral, and she's like caught in the astral demon world, and she can't
Mm.
get out because she's dead, and just the soul has been basically absorbed by the dark realm, and she's caught. So like the last track that's on that record is called Aftermath, and it's completely like Astral piece, which is like kind of like in the style of, you know, Velvet Cocoon and Burzum. I know Burzum's not politically correct anymore or whatever, but his electronic music has been very influential on a lot of dark wave artists and people
Mm.
that are really into dark ambient music. And so it kind of has that sort of a flair about it. And then I wanted to go and explore off that. So like the new record is in 9 pieces. It's the 9 king demons of the Goatia of the
Ah,
72.
okay.
And
Yeah.
so like so basically I was like, I had this idea of like for this record, and I was like, I want to continue this, but I want to explore into themes. So like the idea was going to be a
Can I
little
ask
bit
one
more
question before we
yeah,
get too
sure.
far? Is
Yeah.
that so these king demons and the 72 altogether,
Right.
they were so it's like when Lucifer was cast out of heaven, then they went with him. Is that what that
It's
is?
it's it's real. It's really more off of like paganism and things like that. This is like a Crowley sort of thing, so it's definitely more rooted in the Lesser Key of Solomon. That's basically what it is. So it's not really necessarily biblical. It's not really that.
Okay.
It's more off of that thing. So what I wanted to do was just all I did really. I mean, it's like I'm not like into demonology for real. Like it's like I'm not a Satanist or anything like that. I just like dark stuff and I like writing about dark stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that it would be cool to be able to be, since I used for the record that template, I wanted to go in deeper into that. So like
Mm.
I was like, okay, I'll come up with 9 pieces because I went and I did my research. I went through the book. I have the book here or whatever, just going through, and then found out which ones were the kings. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a tribute to the kings. It's like a tribute to these kings, right, in an astral way, and tying it together. So it's like if you listen to the record, there's certain parts of it, especially the last track. The last track has the pull in from Aftermath from Evocation, the Dark Wave record, which is the Astral piece. So it's kind of a continuation of that. So all I did really was is that I was like went through seasonal depression like I usually do, February to April. I was not in a good place, and I was okay. I'm fine. Not nothing too crazy, but like definitely felt went through a bunch of stuff. I'm going through health issues too, and I'm like, okay, I want to do something that's going to be creative with my time. Sometimes I just like don't do anything and I just decompress, and then it ends up dissipating, getting a little bit better, and going through it. And then when I get creative, it's always better. Like if I
Mm.
keep
Mm.
creative, my mind's in a better place always. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm going to just go and see if I can take this deep feeling that I'm having, this heavy feeling in my chest, and I want to try to transcribe it to music and instruments in a Hororhaus way, in an ambient way. And I mean, there was no real preconceived writing for it all. I mean,
Mm.
basically, it was like I had an idea. Sometimes, like I like to do things that are really slow there, like a funeral doom kind of thing. I like a lot of
Mm.
funeral doom. I like bands like Nort and things that are like that are really
Yeah.
kind of very slow and dreary, cavernous sounding death metal
Mm.
things, deeper. So like I just got behind the instruments and I just started creating themes. And like I always do, I just stack idea themes and then
Mm.
I just explode them out. And then I always want to be able to have some sort of like psychedelic sort of, I like Hawkwind and I think things like that. And I kind of like kind of transcendence. Like there's like a
Mm.
sort of like keyboard psychedelia kind of like,
Mm.
things that oscillate up and down
Yeah,
and
yeah,
out.
yeah.
And so like I find that to be like another layer that I like to add in or whatever. But
Mm.
that's really all I did was is that it wasn't like I had like 9 themes and I was like, okay, here are these, like I sometimes like I'm like in my phone and I'm like, okay, oh, I have this beat idea or I have this like rhythm idea or keyboard line or whatever, like and talking into my phone and like, okay, I'll go back to it and I'll revisit that or whatever. But it wasn't like that at all. And it wasn't like that with La Pisadera ambient record either. It was just like I was like going to go and just do what I was going to do and see where it went with it and what layers could actually work. And that was it. And I just built it in blocks. And there was like, a lot of times I just go and I would feel heavy and I would just stuff started pouring out. And like
Mm.
I think that there's, what came out of it really, I thought that it was going to be a little bit more in an ambient way, but like beats have kind of found their way into this record a
Yeah,
bit.
I was gonna say because some of it is that slow dirge stuff, but it actually fluctuates quite a bit throughout. And I was like, in the middle of it, I was like, oh, this is kind of like I could see this like being played at a goth night on the dance floor, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like for some reason, I mean, like sometimes I'll come up with something and I'm like, oh, that kind of works better with like maybe like a four on the floor or something. Or, some things are more halftime and more funeral dirge and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing that I got out of this was is that I was able to make things that were very thematic
Mm.
and soundtracky, which I really love. And to me, it's all about like hook writing no matter what. I mean, like
Mm.
I don't want anything that I'm doing to be too um uh not necessarily avant-garde but just too out there.
Yeah,
I want it to
too
always be something that ties
obtuse.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want it to be, it's not like
Yeah, but I can hear that because it is very catchy, you know, the
yeah.
different parts that you bring up, you're definitely like taking care of the listener that might be getting bored on a certain note because it's
Yeah,
always moving and yeah, and developing.
yeah, I think that it's got a couple different levels to it. I mean, like I think if you like keyboards, then you're gonna like this record.
Mm.
It's all keyboards, and there are some.
How many keyboards do you have? Are you like a multi-synth guy or you got your favorite one?
I don't have a huge amount of equipment, honestly. Like I have an MC303, which I use all the time for beat writing. All the beats are like basically from there. Sometimes I'll sample stuff from records, beat wise. Make my own beats with them. Uh,
Hmm.
as far as keyboards are concerned, I mean, I have a couple chord keyboards. I have stuff that's like some plug-in things that I have on my phone. I have a
Mm.
Mini Moog plug-in on my phone that I actually play off my phone, but it's a keyboard.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's like I don't really, everything is like I record everything like straight through the computer. It's not AI. I'm really playing everything. I'll go in there and I'll build blocks and I'll tweak things, on the grid, but that's it. Like and then I'm just really kind of mixing by ear. I'm not really doing anything like I'm like watching a million YouTube videos and going, hey, how do I widen or how do I do this or how to do that? It's not really like that. Maybe go into the EQ and like listen to, a layer all together and then widen a little bit here, widen a little bit there, and EQ here and EQ there, and
Mm.
that's it. I mean, but it is really like all me kind of coming up with everything and not like really relying on the machines itself. It's like the Pink Floyd mentality, like you control the machines don't control you. So like basically using those machines to be able to create these soundscapes. And a lot of the writing that I do is like half step writing. So like the chordings are often thematically these sort of like dissonant things. So like I'll start
Mm.
on one note and then it ends up a half step. So it's like kind of like the patterns like that. That's very, very typical of black metal writing. Um,
Mm.
and I wanted to have, and I find
And
like that.
like horror movie soundtracks too. I was
No,
thinking
totally.
a couple of times in there. I was like, oh, this would be a great. It's like when you suddenly see this horror that's like, and it's usually like it's like a kind of a B film horror, but it just has this awesome synthesizer
Yeah, yeah,
soundtrack, you know, and it's
yeah.
always such a wonderful thing for me to stumble across those synthesizer soundtracks.
Yeah, I mean, like this could be something that like you want to sync up with like, silent horror or something like
Yeah,
that, as your
yeah.
soundtrack, you can use it for whatever you want. I mean, if people want to like listen to it and they're like into demonology and they want to go down that road and they want to use it for what they want to use it, do what thou wilt with it. It's
Yeah.
really like more just a dark exploration of things that are themes and
But in
um
case, and let me just say, in case someone is afraid to listen to this, that they might be casting spells on themselves or something. I mean,
I mean,
I did a little research, so it's like, but there is like definite rituals that you're supposed to follow that are not that simple, right? So it's not like just
sure.
being exposed to like if you listen to this and you're not going to curse yourself. It's like you have to do like these specific rituals, and
Well, there's yeah. I mean, there's no lyric content to it. It's named something. It could have been named John
Mm,
or
yeah.
chair or whatever. It could be any, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's like, yeah, it's written from a, a deeper depression
Mm,
mindset, but at the same time, when I went back to it, like, because I wrote it all in blocks like that for like
mm.
a couple months. And then then
Okay.
I left it alone for a while because I also do like this other thing called Ancient My Enemy. So I'm doing that and with two other people that I'm working with. So like I was doing that too. So like I kind of fell out of this record and I was like, okay, that's there. And then when I went back and I was like in a better state of mind or
Mm.
better equipped to be able to go and revisit it, I went back and I was like, wow, some of these themes are really good, and what can I actually do with them, and where can I, explode them out to where they can actually be a piece.
I'm
And
I'm
so,
curious. Was it at that point when you came back and you were feeling more positive? Is that when you did the ones of the sounds kind of the kind of the dreamy floating sounds, that you were talking about earlier?
um,
Was that then when you were
yeah, yeah,
feeling better?
some of the sprinkling and the more psychedelic stuff or whatever
Yeah.
that's floating on the top is definitely like something that I didn't like. The thematic parts of it, the basic themes were written during that like February to April period, and
Mm.
then going into tweak and then figuring out how to like explode them out and how to work with them, because it's like, to me, it's like you have to have the basis, like if you have the basis you can work off of that, and if you don't have any basis you can't work off of anything, and then you're just kind of like, well, I don't know what to do with, where can I go. But like with the building in blocks like that, I can always go back and say, yeah, I think this block is really good, or I think, oh no, I don't like that, but I like something else in the block and I'll move it around. So that's
Mm.
basically it. And it's like, the half stepping of it or whatever is like very important to the writing of what I do. And it's just, that's like part of like the black metal sort of thing that I really like.
Mm.
Instead of exploring stuff that might be, typically dark wave that isn't written in that sort of modulation. It's like this stuff is written in this sort of black metal modulation. So like I'm sure like a black metal artist could come along and take one of these tracks, or a Hororhaus track, maybe not Ghost Host because that wasn't written in that sort of frame of mind, but like the other stuff or whatever, things like Grimoire or other tracks that I've done, and they could probably transpose them to like guitar and then make them like completely black metal because the voicings are that. It's just
Yeah.
that it's all done with keyboards, so it's not guitar and it's not angst like that. It's definitely more like, I don't know, introspective or maybe more floaty or more, in parts prettier maybe because there's keyboards in there and it's not like, things get breathy sometimes and things float over them. But um I don't know. I mean, like I just think that it's like, I come up with themes and then I just work with the themes and see how they go and work with that. And then, as far as the, again, to circle back to the dark thing, I mean, yeah, it's like watching a horror movie. It's like,
Yeah,
it's really,
that's a good comparison.
it's really like all the stuff that I'm doing is just like, it's just an exploration of sound and all the different stuff that I like, all different styles that I like, trying to mix them all together really.
Mm.
You know, uh it's, dark wave, new wave,
Well, it is like a calming. I mean, I find it calming. I
yeah,
listened to it through today, and I was just like, I had one of these days that were like started off real bad.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and I was just it was actually nice just to like lie there and almost like meditate.
yeah,
To as a soundtrack, which I did as a kid too. To like, I love Bowie's, the B side of Lows and B side of Heroes. Like
yeah,
so many people were pissed, like, oh, I can't believe he's not singing on half the album, and I just loved that so much.
yeah.
I
The stuff
actually
is
used to
great.
take naps to it as a kid.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
I found it so
All
peaceful.
that stuff is great. Yeah, I mean that seeps into what I'm doing. I mean, it's all different types of I don't know, like it's hard because like I know what I'm into and I know what, and then sometimes the things that you're influenced by, um may come out in your music in a different way. It might not necessarily be like the chordings that you're coming up with, or the sprinkling here, sprinkling there, but it's like the
Mm.
vibe, or it's more like your mindset, or whatever may be, with creating stuff. So it's just like I really don't, with this stuff, come up with things preconceived. It's like kind of like I just let it pour out. I'm not really a keyboard player either. It's like, I can play, but I'm not like, I'm not technical. I'm not like that guy that like can,
Yeah, I think of
like,
myself as like a keyboard explorer. I'm not really a
yeah,
player.
yeah. I'm more about, it's like the same thing with like the lyrical content or the vocals that I do for Hororhaus. I'm not, I can sing, but the idea of what Hororhaus vocals are about, or it's the same sort of thing of like what the keyboards are about, or the themes that I'm doing are about, is that like I'm storytelling. I'm not trying to like, you know, do something rangy. I'm not trying to do something like technical. It's minimal. It's
Yeah,
minimalist music, So,
yeah, yeah.
and the vocals are as well. So, like when I'm doing a vocal thing, it's like some people are like, "Oh, it's too guttural" or whatever. Well, I listen to a lot of guttural music, and that's going to probably come out in what I'm doing, even though it has a melodic thing to it. I'm not
Mm.
trying to sing high, and I'm not trying to be, John Lord from Deep Purple. Like it's like I'm not that level of keyboard player. I don't play like that. Like I get to a keyboard and I start playing with sound and I listen to something and I'm like, I like that. And all of a sudden I'll just go across a couple keys and I'm like, that sounds like a pattern. I like
Mm.
that pattern. I mean, I think that because I'm a drummer too, like I have a lot of things that I write that are rhythmic. So like
Oh yeah.
I think the rhythm is half of it. I mean, like music is really like rhythm and notes, right?
Mm.
So like to me, the notes are important, but like the rhythm structure is important too. And I'm always thinking like on a production level of like what sounds classy, or to me, maybe uh something that I'm like trying to like think, well, that sounds too busy, or what works, what can create atmosphere, like what's the atmospheric thing that I can create here.
Mm.
And that's kind of like how I approach it, and I'm approaching this whole record was is that I just wanted to create something that was like melancholic but uplifting, that has victory at the end of it. And it's like it
Mm.
kind of has that sort of thing. Yeah, you can sit and can meditate to it. You could do whatever you want to it, you know. But it's definitely something that you can also go to sleep to, and it's
Mm.
definitely like something that is soothing. And I mean,
Yeah.
like to me, like some of the themes, I find it like I can fall asleep to this record very easily. Like, but it's like kind of like it's trancey. It has a trance vibe
Yeah,
about it,
yeah,
even
that's
though
right.
it's like
Yeah,
not
yeah, it's like a little
necessarily.
hypnotic. Yeah.
It's hypnotic, totally. And I think, and to me, creating like that sort of circular hypnotic thing is the same thing that I
Mm.
think about rhythm, almost like loops. It's like when I
Mm.
played drums and I started learning how to play drums, and I started playing to a lot of different like rock things, and like also like I was very influenced by like as a drummer, like what did I learn to play drums to? And I was like, okay,
Mm.
ACDC and
Yeah.
simplistic drum things, but like you listen to ACDC and it's like, you know, Phil Rudd has a swing to his beat, and it's
Mm.
like it doesn't have anything to do with like being super technical. Super technical is great, you can get there, but if you don't have that pocket, you don't have that groove, it doesn't work. And like
Yeah.
I was playing to like 70s disco stuff too, like four on the floor. Like how
Mm.
can you get that four on the floor groove that was live, that still had somewhat a robotic thing, but also had some sort of little swing to it,
A
or a
little
little bit of
soul.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
little bit of
Yeah.
a funk to it, or something. Like I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
punk
Yeah.
music. My dad, was a musician. His drummer was Bernard Purdy. I heard Bernard Purdy as a very very young child. So like break
Wow.
beats and stuff like that, I grew up on. I mean, so that stuff I can play like in my sleep, those beats and stuff. But like I kind of think that like the funk mentality,
Mm. That's
uh,
interesting that that's
funk
all
and stuff.
cooking in your mind.
Yeah, it's like well, I have ADHD too, so it's like it's all goes like this, and then I'm like, okay, try to focus and figure, okay, I like a million different things, but like how could I actually incorporate all those things into what I'm doing musically? So like, and with this, it's like I don't have anyone to necessarily bounce it off of, and I don't really want to. Like, this is just
Mm,
my own thing.
yeah.
People like it great. I hope that they hear something in it that I hear in it. It's just totally therapy to me, really.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm doing with it is that like I'm just like at a certain point was just like I want to create music for myself. I'm not really necessarily creating it for anybody else, but
Mm,
anybody else that like obviously will listen to it or give it a chance and they hear something in it that resonates with them or they like it, then cool, obviously that's great. But I'm definitely just trying to keep creative and keep doing stuff. So like I'm doing this, I do Ancient My Enemy now, and so like both of those things are really keeping me busy doing stuff. So like when I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I think I need to go kind of like I need this other thing to be able to go create, then I can
mm,
always go just straight to, okay, I don't have anybody like going, I don't like that keyboard part, or hey, I don't
yeah.
like the way this is structured,
Yeah.
or it's to this or it's to that. And I mean, obviously, you're going to get, once you put your music out there, you're going to get people that are going to come back and they're going to go, you either get a radio silence or you're going to get, oh, no, I don't really like this, or I think this is amazing and I really love it. So it's like, um, all different ways that it goes out is all great. But it's just about like continuing to be creative and being vital and just wanting to continue,
Yeah.
like 58
We're
now.
we're gonna get cut off in 4 minutes. So,
Okay. What else do you need to
but
know?
well, let's talk about what comes next because
Okay,
you're
what
gonna
comes
carry
next?
this theme through, right?
What comes next is this Ancient My Enemy. So like Ancient My
Oh,
Enemy,
okay.
we're doing a show in Kingston, New York on 11/22. We're going to be also on Freddie Hernandez's show, which is the
Oh, nice.
WFDU show in New Jersey.
Yeah.
He does a dark wave show every Sunday night from 8
Wow, that's
to
cool.
11. So we're finishing the EP. We're all done with it. We're just tweaking, and getting that done. New 4 songs came out really great. Two other people involved with that. It's me doing keyboards and production and drum programming and stuff like that. Tommy Grenis, who was in Nick Turner's Hawkwind. He was also in Chrome. He was in Farflung. He's in a lot of different bands. He's he's a Irish guy, but he moved to LA. He's involved in a lot of stuff in the 90s and 2000s, and he moved up to Woodstock, and I met him, and we've been working together.
Oh,
So he
cool.
plays guitar and bass, and doing a lot of the riff writing and stuff. And then we have TT, who's our vocalist, and she's really great vocalist and has a lot of really great vocal ideas and lyric ideas and stuff. And so we're on our second EP. So we have one EP that came out last year, have a next one that's coming out next week, next Saturday, actually, not this next Saturday that's coming up. So 11/22, it's coming out. So we have a record release for it. EP release, Minna Mayhem, if you know who that is, it's going to be DJing the night with us. So that'll be fun. As far as Hororhaus is concerned, I have another dark wave record that I'm going to be working on. It actually is all done. It's just a matter of I have to go back into those themes and start working on them. And I'm
Mm,
going to be probably talking to some people, maybe guesting in on it, maybe doing some vocals or maybe doing some tracking and stuff like that. So that'll probably be out sometime in the spring.
all right. Wow.
That's it.
Busy man.
Trying to keep busy.
Well,
Trying to keep
thanks so much for doing this, Scott. We better jump off because it's gonna end in a minute. But
Okay.
yeah, great
Thanks for
talking
having
to
me.
you. And yeah, man, congratulations on just all of your creative projects. It sounds like
Thank you.
you're really staying active. So that's awesome.
Trying to keep
And
busy.
awesome and
Trying to keep
inspiring.
creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
All right,
Just got
man.
to keep
Talk to
going.
you talk to you soon.
All right.